production processes that mean that product is late in terms of its manufacturer, and customers can get unhappy about it, let alone the problems of managing cost. So if you look across those systems at something like materials data as an example, we might find that bill of materials is created by product development in a product development system, and then subsets of that have to find their way into other systems such as ERP systems, supply chain management systems, production planning systems, manufacturing systems, even quality control systems associated with manufacturing processes may have that data. And looking across those systems, there could be a number of different identifiers for that materials data across those systems. There could even be different data names and data definitions for that data across different systems. Different subsets of that materials data may exist in different systems with overlaps between them. And so we're not totally sure what's in all of those systems, and how, maintaining synchronization across it is difficult, especially if some of those other systems also attempt to update and maintain the master data in their local database, as well as seeing that same data or subsets of it being maintained in other applications as well. So the conflicts that can arise can be very significant. And so at this point I'd like to ask the audience my first question, really, which hopefully we'll be able to put up in front of you right now. Greg, can you do that for me, please? So this question is really about trying to ask you about the number of identifiers that you already have out there for your supplier, same supplier across multiple system instances. Have you just got one ID? Have you got 1 to 5 different identifiers for the same supplier, 5 to 10, or more than 10? I'm just trying to gauge what kind of difficulty you currently have at the moment with respect to your identifying suppliers across your business. Are we at the point where we can see those results now? Okay, so what's kind of interesting, what we're looking at is most of you 1 to 5, some of you 5 to 10, and 14% of you in a pretty difficult situation where you've got more than 10 identifiers for the same supplier. And so I think what we're coming back with is whilst half of you out there are reducing the number of identifiers for a single supplier across your organization, there's still over half, around about half of you that are struggling to see a single view of your supplier data. Okay, so I think that reflects kind of what I've been describing so far. Now, if you look generally at data around the enterprise, you also see additional trends. For example, if you look in the analytical or business intelligence system space, there's a trend towards what I would call workload optimized systems that are optimized for specific kinds of workloads that are now appearing as hardware appliances or software appliances that can run on commodity hardware. But these specific appliances aimed at specific workloads end up meaning that data becomes even more fractured, in the sense that we have more islands of it even within a business intelligence environment. And one of the aspects here with respect to master data is, of course, that dimensions in a business intelligence environment are really master data. And so if we've got multiple appliances within our organization looking at different analytical problems, we can even have fracturing of master data across the BI systems within our enterprise. And adding to that complexity is the fact that now we have the cloud available to us, and so line of business, for example, in large organizations, some of them are doing line of business specific applications in a cloud computing environment and stepping outside the firewall in order to hold data. I was at a bank recently where some of the data that they were holding was held out in a cloud computing environment. And so now we've got business processes starting to span a hybrid mix of external cloud-based software as a service applications and internal on-premise operational and BI systems, which means that data is potentially even more fractured than before. So it's not surprising, therefore, that we can end up in a situation whereby it's very difficult for organizations to be able to see their master data, or indeed any data, a single view of it across their enterprise systems. They can't see it because of the difficulties that I mentioned, duplicate identifiers, disparate identifiers for the same data in different systems, and therefore getting a single view is very difficult. In fact, I've been at a client site today with exactly that problem. So looking at where we are here now, having understood the complexity, whilst not losing any ability to operate, we're trying to get rid of duplication and different ways of doing the same thing and move towards what I can only describe as common processes, common applications, common user interfaces, and of course common trusted data. And so that's really where I see the opportunity. It's simplification, it's integration, and driving consistency across the enterprise so that we can be more agile, operate more rapidly, so that the execution speed of our business processes increases and allows the organization to scale without increasing its complexity across its lines of business. And so globalization has a business requirement which is fundamentally about simplification. It's about getting single views of core master data like supplier, like materials, like product, like customer, and so on, and being able to use that information across common processes that are joined up, from procurement to pay or from order to cash. So looking at that requirement, as you can see on this slide, process optimization or process improvement, which is high on the agenda of many organizations, is very much dependent on consistent data, making it to all points of the process. Now, we're looking here at procure to pay. In a procure to pay process, there could be multiple systems involved, including ERP. And if you've got multiple ERP systems participating in this process, or multiple instances of this process in different lines of business or in different countries around the world, clearly maintaining synchronization of master data to all points of operation would allow the speed of the process to execute faster and faster. If we can get consistency to all applications participating in that process, then less data errors would occur, data would flow smoothly across applications involved in a procurement to pay process, for